afternoon, everybody, and happy Father's Day. Today is June the 21st, Father's Day, 2015. This is my first vlog, video blog, broadcast, whatever you want to call it. Whatever it is what it is. I want to welcome you to my first one. Today we're going to talk about who I am, why I am here, why I have this vlog, and what I'm setting out to do. First of all, my name is Chris Bridges. I am your host of Vapetastic. Vapetastic is just an awareness vlog. I want to make my viewers aware of what's going on in the vape world, what's happening, make them aware of new stores coming up locally in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, make them aware of new laws that may be getting passed either for or against vaping, because we got people out there that are totally against vaping because they're uneducated. Well, my goal is, as I get educated, to educate. I'm a true teacher. I love to educate, but I also love to be educated. I'm not just a teacher, I'm a student. And I hope that's where you're at too, is that as you learn, you want to teach what you've learned. But today I really want to introduce myself and my setup. It's interesting how many people say I started vaping to quit smoking, and then they go and they never quit vaping. Their ultimate goal is to eventually stop vaping, but they turn it into a hobby, and that's cool. That's awesome, because it is a healthy alternative to smoking. You still get the nicotine that you crave. Actually, you get the right amount of nicotine that you crave, versus with the old cancer sticks, cigarettes, you don't get hardly any nicotine, but you get a lot of crap in your lungs. And when you take your first hit of vaping, you about kill yourself because you're clearing out your lungs of that crap. And that's awesome. That's the awesome thing about vaping. It's the exact same thing as taking a breathing treatment. I remember my first hit of an e-cig was at Vintage Vapors in Chattanooga. Great people. Their juice line is awesome. I'm not a juice snob. That's what you'll find out about me. I go from Chattanooga to Ringgold looking for the best juices I can find, and not every vape shop's going to have the same juices, and that's why I'm not a juice snob, is because Vintage might not have what Mellow down here in Ringgold has. Mellow and Ringgold might not have what a Veil has. So it's a community that works together. That's what I like about vaping. Every store has their own prices. I know not every store has the same thing in prices, and they compete in prices, and that's awesome. But the thing about vaping is the health benefits of vaping versus smoking. I started smoking because I had Tourette's syndrome, and I've still got Tourette's syndrome. Tourette's syndrome is where you tick all the time. You've got motor tics going on that are uncontrollable, and medications that have stimulants in them is what used to treat the tics. But most medications for Tourette's syndrome that I found out are antipsychotics that they give prisoners and inmates. Well, I'm not an inmate and I'm not a prisoner, and I don't need to be calmed down. But I was taking these stimulants for a while, and then I realized something. Nicotine is also a stimulant. And I read in an article one time that nicotine is used to treat Tourette's syndrome, used to treat ADD, ADHD, schizophrenia, all that stuff. And I said, that's great, but I need to start smoking then, because I'm tired of these stimulants. Well, I started smoking Marlboro Reds at a young age. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was young when I started smoking. Now I'm 31 years old, and now I vape. But I didn't like the taste of cigarettes, and I didn't like the smell of cigarettes, because I've been around cigarettes all my life. People in my family smoke, friends smoke. I don't like the smell and the taste of cigarettes at all. It's nasty. It smells like death in a box, really. But after I'd been smoking for a while, I was introduced to vaping. Vaping was a different story for me. Vaping is something that I enjoy doing. It's something that saved me money on cigarettes. It's something that saved me money where I needed to save money. But it was also something that could treat my tics 100% better than cigarettes. I started vaping, and I said, well, I'm just going to hit this every now and then. Wrong. I started hitting it on a regular because I realized what benefits it was to the Tourette's syndrome. And now my ticks are little to none usually. Sometimes I'll start ticking a little more when I get frustrated, but then as I get frustrated, I also nick a little more. So it treats two things really. But here's the thing. You gotta know what you like when it comes to vaping. I said it earlier, I'm not a juice snob. But I will say this. You need to know what your nic level is, your nicotine level. You need to know that. There's one shop I know of in Ringgold that does it, that tests your nic level, and that's Mellow Mist. Chuck and Jamie are awesome people. They're very friendly, very family oriented. Heck, when I walked in there yesterday for the first time, it was like walking in to see family. You know, we talked for 4 hours. I was in that store for 4 hours. Count it, 4. And we didn't just talk about vaping. We talked about everything under the sun. And see, that's how this community is. The community of vapors is a family. And that's what I like about it. You know, because we've got that one thing in common, and that's we like to vape. The smoking community was never like that. Let me repeat that. The smoking community was never like that. Yes, you've got smoking rooms in industrial buildings. Yes, you've got smoking areas where everyone goes out to smoke and they talk and have a good time and what have you. But that's just that. It's not like family. But when you walk into a vape shop, you walk in, most vape shops are like family when you walk in there. You say, hey, how's it going? You talk about, you know, what vape juices you want, what e-juices you want, what mod you would like to buy. But then sometimes the conversation goes beyond that, and it's like talking to a family member. The vape community is a whole lot different than the smoking community for that one reason, if not any other. But, so that's my story on why I got to vaping. Now, let's talk about my setup. I got my new setup last week. I've got the Aspire CF sub-ohm, and I've read in several places that it's 40 watt output. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure, but it puts out like a mech mod just about, without the hassle of having to have an internal battery. Now, next week I do intend on purchasing a new mech mod, the Nemesis. I know that's an older mech, but it's okay. It's a drip mod. I want to start dripping. I tested dripping yesterday at Mellow, and it was freaking awesome. Because you had more flavor, you had more taste, and you had more nicotine. But the con behind dripping is, you know, you don't need to be away from home when you're doing it, because you're going to keep pouring it in there, dripping. But the Aspire is the best one I've had so far, the best mod I've had so far. I love it. I've got the Atlantis V2 tank on it, the V2 sub-ohm tank. I'm sub-ohming with a tank. And it's a very awesome, very attractive mod with tank. I purchased this at a Vail Vapors up in Chattanooga, up on Shallowford Road, and a Hamilton place, at Hamilton Crossing actually, across from the Crystal. Let me put a plug in there. I work at the Crystal, but I work at the one in Ottawa. But it's interesting because the battery alone, I looked online, it's $45. The tank alone is also $45. $90 total. But Avail has it on a special, or had it on a special. I don't know if you guys still have it on a special or not, Avail. Shout at me if you do. And I'll send my listeners, my viewers, there to, you know, get the Aspire if they so want it. But here's the deal. Both of them I purchased for $65. That's a great deal. That is an awesome deal. It puts out a cloud as if it was an RDA. This is not an RDA, but it puts out a great cloud as if it was an RDA, and it offers great flavor. Yeah, it puts out a decent cloud. That wasn't a full cloud because I didn't inhale it fully. But my daughter's always saying, Daddy, I want to see cloud, I want to see cloud, I want to see cloud. And she loves it. She loves when I put out a good cloud. I know a lot of people are against, you know, introducing children to it. I'd rather introduce a child to vaping than I had smoking. She actually asked me the other day, Daddy, when I get old enough, can I vape? Absolutely you can. You know, I'd much rather have my child vaping than I would smoking. Let me tell you, because I know the ingredients of e-juice. I know the ingredients that Chuck and Jamie put in theirs. I know the ingredients that Vail puts in theirs. But I don't know what I was in a cigarette, and I know, and oftentimes, cigarettes kill people. Over 400,000 deaths a year smoking cigarettes. Why would you want to put that in your mouth? That's my question. And so I tell every one of my smoking friends who are still smoking, I've converted one already. You know, I've converted one that I know of. But here's the thing. Why would I put something in my mouth that I know is going to kill my behind? It don't make any sense. So that's my passion for vaping. That right there. The health reason. The education. My goal is to educate the uneducated. Educate the ignorant. I was ignorant at one time. But now my eyes are open to the smoking world versus the vaping world. And the vaping world's a lot cleaner. Trust me. I'd rather vape than I had smoke. Now, here's the thing though. We got to be approachable about it. We've got to be friendly about it. We've got to be professional about it. Because this is something the government wants to put to an end. Because guess what? Big Pharma just ain't making any money. That's why. Big Pharma ain't making no money off cancer patients once they start vaping. Once cigarette smokers start vaping, Big Pharma don't make money off of them. And guess what? The cigarette companies have learned this. And guess what? They're starting to make mods, e-cigs. Don't trust the cigarette companies. You don't trust them with cigarettes. Why would you trust them with a mod? Something they know nothing about. But, you know, just don't trust them. Okay, now I'm going to end this today by asking you one question. When was the first mod invented? What year was it? And who was it that invented it? And until next time, vape long and prosper.